Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have also two special guests. I have Dr. Triza, so she'll introduce the guest and then we move on from today's topic.
Hi guys, welcome back. I'm glad to be here again. I have a special guest with me, Pastor Debora. I met her at work. She came to get some medicine. And you know, women, we talk, and as we were talking, we reached to this point where she told me that she had had fibroids issues. So we raised awareness. I decided to, why not share the story with everyone else, like we do on this channel. So I'll let her talk, tell us her story. It's quite interesting, though I didn't hear all of it. Yeah, so Pastor Debora,
yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Pastor Debora Wanjua. I pastor with Shalom, God Our Peace Fellowship. I'm a volunteer chaplain in the Kenyan prison, and I have a foundation known as Tiffany Foundation. Tiffany stands for my firstborn. She's Tiffany Gadoni. God called me in full-time ministry in 2004, and I have seen His faithfulness. In 2014, it was August, the second week, I was invited in a conference in Matu. Early in the morning when I woke up, when I started preparing myself, I started coughing with no limit. It went for a long time, and I had something drop from my uterus, and I was shocked. I rushed to the bathroom, and I was like, what is this? Because I wasn't pregnant. When I just went down, something came like a big ball. I felt it with my fingers, and I was shocked. So because I didn't know what it was, I pushed it in, and I started bleeding. The bleeding was heavy that no pad could handle. I have a daughter who is spinal bifida. She is Virginia Morugi, and the operation which she was done in 1995, I don't know what happened, because the doctor came and told me in the morning that he had messed with her control of urine and stool. So she's been using diapers. So when I went back in the house, I asked for a diaper, and I had to tie on because I had to go to the Matu conference. And I went. The Reverend drove us together with his wife, and we reached in Matu church where the conference was.
Yeah, so let me interrupt you.
Yes.
So when you reached, like you were actually going to the conference.
Yes.
When you were bleeding.
Yes.
Were you in pain, Amma?
There was not more pain. It was only a little pain, but the bleeding was continuous. Yes.
And you didn't, like, it was soaking like pad after pad?
Yes. When I tried using the sanitary pads, I normally use the always night one, the extra long. So 10 minutes it is soaked. 10 minutes it is soaked. So I decided the diaper one.
So how, you said you have 3 children?
Two. One passed on.
One, sorry. So was this after you had given birth to all of them?
It was after I had given birth to all of them, because the last born, I gave birth to him in 2003. 2003. 2003.
And this is like 2014?
Yeah, this is 2014. Yes.
Okay.
So I tried going to the chemist to look for any medicine that could stop, because I thought that it was periods. But because I didn't have money, I ended up buying only one tablet, which stopped only 4 hours. And then it was a struggle there in the church, because I didn't want anyone to know what I was suffering from. I didn't want anyone to know my issue. I remember on Thursday, I didn't have money for the sanitary pad, so I had to ask for the pastors around to help me. So I got 100, and I sent a girl to the shop. I sent her at 11 in the morning. She was coming back at 5 in the evening. At 4, there was a women workshop that I was the one leading. So we were seated in a semicircle, and I was asking them what they have been passing through, their difficulties, so that I know how to pray for them.
So you're also just passing through a difficulty, but you're busy encouraging other people who are not going through.
You know, as a leader, you don't have to, you're not supposed to show your problems. As a leader, you've got to press on despite what you're passing through.
Because you're the leader, so
Yes.
that other people can emulate you.
Yes. So no one knew my problem. By around 4:30, I felt no. It was like I had and blood now started coming. I had to cross my legs so that I hold the floor because I couldn't imagine women looking at me.
Yeah, and you bleeding.
Yes. So the girl came at around 5. When I picked the pads, I automatically stood up.
Stood up, yes.
And a river flew from me, a red river, and women screamed. Pastors came running. One woman ran and closed the windows and the door. And they had to tie me with a lasso. Went to the bathroom. I was given other clothes, even them that we don't borrow.
Yeah.
And the host was troubled, but he didn't ask. So the following morning, when I went to the bathroom, I met a lady whom we used to live with in Roy. And she was surprised. What are you doing here? I told her I'd come for the conference. And she gave me 1,000 shillings for lunch. And I said, God, thank
God's
you.
grace, yeah.
Yes. So I came back on Sunday. And I had to live with this problem for 1 month because I didn't have money. 1 month later, I got some money. I went to Mbagathi Hospital. No, before Mbagathi, there's a doctor who was in Mombi House, first floor. So I went to this hospital. I was breathing heavily when I reached there. So she made me lie on the bed. She took the sample of my blood and it was 0.04.
Wow.
What, guys, you can imagine someone who's walking around with a hemoglobin of 0.04. So the normal values for ladies is between 12 to 18. So you can imagine your hemoglobin levels have dropped to the level of 0.02 and you're still walking.
Yes.
I think that is just God's grace. Yeah.
So she was like, if only I could be having a ward, I couldn't have released you. So I told her of my other problem. She watched, but she told me that she will refer me to a hospital which I should be done the ultrasound. So a week later, she prescribed medicine and food so that blood will come back. A week later, I went to her hospital and she started injecting me through the veins. After 1 week was over, I went to Mbagathi Hospital. Now I went for the ultrasound and the doctor was shocked. Because she asked me, for how long have you lived with this condition? I told her it has been 1 month. And she asked me, why did you want to kill yourself? And I said, doctor, it's that I didn't have money. And she asked me, who told you that in Mbagathi, when you come with no money, we cannot help? I said, I didn't know. So I went through the process, I went to the blood test, and it came to 5.0, at least it had added. But still it was low. So when I took the results to the doctor, I found a doctor who was a lady. And she had my story there. She told me to go home and come back and book a gyno so that I receive the message from the gyno. But a lady came and I don't know how she read my story in the computer. She came and asked the doctor, what have you prescribed for this lady? And she said, I've told her to come and book the gyno. And this other lady who came asked her, do you want to kill this woman? You can see, you can see the pads that she's using, a packet per day. And now telling her to go home, you are killing her. So I was admitted in Mbagathi Hospital in the gyno clinic. There are wards there. And in the morning, these interims, what are they called? Interns. The students, the one who had my file came, and because she thought she'd never had such a case, she told me that she wants to see. So I went and I was put on a bed in a room that was written MVA. And she told me to push, because as I pushed, it could come into the entrance. And she took scissors. And I thought that she's removing it, out. So she would pinch it with the scissors, pinch it, and I thought,
you could feel pain.
yes, but I thought because it is something that has to be taken out. It may be, it was being, and then after that, she told me, now I should arise. I was like, what have you done? She said I was just examining it. Coming out of that bed, I bled until I went running to the ward to look for a diaper. And then a gyno came and they examined me, and I heard the gyno say that this case is not supposed to be done here in MVA. This case is for the theatre. So they started giving me blood. I was given 2 pints, and the following Monday, when they came for the examination, it had reached 10.8.
A very good improvement.
Yes, and I was ready to the theatre. But when the doctor came, who is called Dr. Mweke, a gynecologist who works in Bagathi Hospital, a very good gynecologist, when he came in the morning, he called me and took me to the MVA room. And I told him, doctor, my case is not supposed to be done here. So he asked me, you are talking on behalf of other patients or it is you? I told him, doctor, it's me and me alone. So he told me, let me go to the theatre, I'll call you. I was ushered into the theatre at around 4 in the evening. And by that time, they could not inject somebody with the injection that makes somebody sleep. They only injected the part that they were operating, and they'll operate when you're looking. And I said, doctor, I'm afraid, just remove me and I'll come back when I'm through. So he did a very excellent work because he did not cut
the incision.
No, he didn't. He took it from down.
Or from the back?
Yeah. He took it out, he washed me, and he took a gauge, put medicine, and inserted on it. Yeah, and he told me that that medicine should stay for 12 hours. So I was taken to the ward at 8. This was Monday. On Wednesday, they came and added me another pint of blood, and on Thursday, I was released. After the release, when I went home, I met a doctor who is my friend called Dr. Patrick, and I started a walk of recovery with him. And I recovered quickly. Yes, because after 2 weeks, I was able to wash clothes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Which is something you can't do after I got the incision and I was on 4 weeks bed rest. Yes.
I didn't rest.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how was that like journey of recovery to you?
The journey of recovery, I met Dr. Patrick, who has machines from South Korea. The company is known as Nugabest, but he has his own machine. And I could go, he could make me sleep on the mats. There is a 5-sphere, like something that has 5 balls. I could sit on it, and the heat could go just direct in. I think this one is the one that made me get healed quickly, recover quickly with no pain.
So it's like you were
therapy.
Steam therapy.
It is called thermotherapy. Yes.
So were there like herbs or something of the sort that you used to use, or it's just purely steam?
It was these machines. They have the stones which are on these machines are consisted with 4 stones. There is black tourmaline, there is germanium, there is elvan, antimonium, and volcanic rock. There is a doctor whose mother got cancer in South Korea, and he remembered the grandmother used to send them to the dam and pick stones. And the grandmother could come and boil water with those stones, and healing could come. So the doctor realized that there are stones which have healing power.
Healing properties.
Yeah, so he started studying upon the stones. He found these 4, and he had to mash them, mix them, burn them, and now it produced a stone that is called Tomenium stone. And now the products, there is like a mat, which they are there, but they insert on the electricity for the bed to be warm.
Wow.
So it's like
You just sleep, yeah. You just sleep, and the heat now starts working on you.
Okay, so back to the fibroids, it was only one.
It was one because it was one, and it was put in a container, and I was told to take it to Cambridge.
Oh, to test if it's cancerous. Yeah.
But when I looked at the prices of Cambridge, they were charging 4,000. I said I couldn't afford.
Yeah.
Do you have like photos of that?
And I was afraid. I was afraid I didn't. I knew because the problem that I was having is now taken out. I don't need to see it.
And then after the whole, so you didn't go through surgery, after the whole procedure, how was life? Did you eat some special, did you have like a diet, or you were just...
I just went back to my normal food.
You went back to your normal food?
Yes. Yes.
So these days you don't feel like any pain?
There is no pain because since I started working with Dr. Patrick, I've always been there. Daily.
So
daily, every day I go there since that time. But during the process of healing, after 2 weeks I was totally healed.
Oh, you were totally healed?
Yes. There were no pains, nothing. Yes.
Even the bleeding stopped?
Stopped. And it just started coming as a normal period. Yes.
So another thing I asked you when we met was if your daughter had the same problems, because we discussed that one of the ways people get fibroids, it's hereditary through genes and all that. And you said that she's okay.
Yeah, she's okay.
She's okay.
Yes.
It's great.
Okay,
My 2 daughters are okay. Yeah, they're fine. The firstborn is 32 years, the last born is 27 years.
Wow.
Okay, that is nice. Yeah. So I'm really like intrigued about Dr. Patrick's clinic and all.
Dr. Patrick's clinic is in COTC. Behind there is a supermarket which is called Tuskys. Tuskys supermarket in OTC?
Yeah, I know.
You know it? Yeah. So you can call Patrick there, he can pick you. He's just up there, first floor.
So Dr. Patrick, he just uses the natural ways of...
Yeah, because he tested them. His mother was sick. So he bought the machines and took the machines to his mother. And when the mother got healed, he believed in them. And he has been using them every day. And he has been hearing testimonies of people, them who have been using those machines, they get automatically healed. It doesn't matter what case.
So like after the surgery, were you able to be given like drugs? And when you were on those drugs, did you mix your drugs with Patrick's therapy, or how did you go about that?
After the operation, I was given antibiotic drugs and
painkillers.
Yeah, I don't know the medicine. I don't remember the names, but I was given antibiotic pills, which I took for 1 week after the operation. But Dr. Patrick does not tell you to leave the medicine.
So you continue with your medicine alongside his therapy?
Yes, and he keeps telling you go for examination. For another doctor. Yeah, so that you confirm what he's telling you, whether it's true. Yes.
Okay. So back to, you said initially your blood was at 0.04, then it went to 5, then 10. And you never had any issues of anemia after that?
No.
So it has resolved completely, like you're okay completely?
I'm okay completely. There's nothing that I cannot do. My body is okay. I've never been sick. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So no other diseases, that is all okay?
No.
Okay.
And that is like, you said 2014?
Yeah, it was 20, it's 6 years.
It's 6 years down the line?
Yes.
And it goes back to what you were saying about fibroids recurring, and they've not recurred.
They've not recurred.
So
they've not recurred.
Yeah. So back to the story again, we were just arguing some time back like there's this notion or myth in the market that people believe once you've had like fibroids removed and then maybe you stay for another long period of time, they'll grow back and then they'll have to remove. So with her testimony and with what the doctor actually told us, you'll watch that video for actually the guy telling us that they don't recur. So the chances of them recurring after you having a surgical procedure, it's very, very low. Though some people that it happens, it recurs. But for very many people, the chances are actually very low. Yeah.
And you find that sometimes women fear the tear, the CS tear. Yeah, you find somebody who has fibroids, but she's afraid to go to the hospital because she's fearing to have the scar.
Okay.
But when I went to the theater, the doctor did not put anything.
So there's no scar.
Yeah, there's no scar.
I think also like people think like I don't have children and I'm going to get a scar, so it's a bit scary.
So what would you advise, maybe, let me just say, someone who's within their reproductive age and then maybe they have fibroids and then they're scared they won't have children?
I will advise them this. God is powerful. And it doesn't matter what we're passing through. The number of children that he has spoken or written concerning one, they cannot be deterred by fibroids.
Yes.
So, women, if you have fibroids, if you're a girl, just go for the operation and believe that God is the one who gives children. He will bless you with children. Kindly allow me to talk just a little testimony of Virginia, my daughter, the one who is disabled. I gave birth to her in 1993 in my house because I didn't have money to go to the maternity. And I found that she has a severe wound at the beginning, at the back. So I called the neighbor and told her to go to the dispensary. And the neighbor told me to go to, when she went to the dispensary, the doctor told her to go to a big hospital. So I started the journey the following day. Her first operation, she was destroyed in the control of urine and stool. She has gone 5 more operations. And it was a tiresome task bringing her up because she had to type diapers, other problems, and it was a problem. So when she reached Form 3, I couldn't afford to maintain her in a boarding school. So I had to take her out of the boarding school and introduce her to a day school. Form 4, a man entered into my house and raped her. And she became pregnant. It was an issue that was difficult for me to believe, but I had to believe because there is a God in heaven. The doctor said that her bones were weak. She should be not terminated the pregnancy, but I refused. And it was a long journey, 2016. I walked with her. She was in Form 4. I had to look for an alternative school because when the pregnancy was 4 months, she could not walk. So I had to introduce her to a boarding school, and I walked with her for 9 months through clinics. She finished her exam. December 28, labor pain started. I took her to a hospital in Gitanga Road known as Maria Immaculata, and the doctors were afraid, so they called another doctor from a senior hospital. And Virginia gave birth to twins.
Wow.
She has 2 boys who are now 3 years. We are in August. 8 months. I'm a proud grandma of 2 grandsons. And if God could bless Virginia with children, how much more will He bless anybody who is no more? So, I'm encouraging any lady who has a problem of fibroids that your life will not be terminated by the operation, that the reproduction in your life will not be terminated by fibroids. Just go through the operation if it has to be done. And if there is another way, go through it and God will bless you with children.
So guys, in conclusion, I always tell you guys, God is there, God is real. You just gotta believe and everything will be okay. Yeah, you've seen both of her testimonies. They're actually very good, and I hope this story encourages someone out there. I hope this actually gives you hope that there's life, even though you're passing through something. I know there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah.
Yes.
Dr. Shiza, do you have anything else to add?
I would just like to say one of the things we've noticed through this, we started this in July, the Fibroid Awareness Month, and one of the things we noticed is people rather shy off from saying their stories. I think one of the reasons is, as a girl, the first thing you feel when you have problems with your uterus is, oh God, am I going to have children? It's so there's some silent stigma around it. So I'll just, you talk and hear stories like this, they encourage you. I shared my story. I actually went through the operation. I have a scar and it's healed and I feel well. So I will encourage people again to do your regular scans, your pelvic scan. Take care of your health, and if it happens, don't shy off. Do your research and everything will be well.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, so 1 minute, she has something to say, then we can wrap it up.
Anyone who might want to ask me a question can call me through this line 0726979740. That is my number.
So if you would like to share your story about any journey that you have, might it be anything to do with reproductive health, anything to do with your health as a general like human being, you can get me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can just DM me and then we'll be able to actually communicate. Yeah, I would like to encourage more women, like come out, share your stories, let your story encourage another person. Yeah, because you might just never know who you will touch by your story. Yeah, with all that being said, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. Yeah, if you have any questions, if you have anything else, leave it in the comment section. Yeah, and yeah, our family is growing, so let us continue sharing these videos out so that actually other people may be able to join the family. Thank you.
And don't forget to like our page on Facebook. It's called F for Fibroids and Other Uterine Diseases.